to the bold analysis. The president will have to cancel Mandera tour amidst the reports of this Alshabaab abducting chiefs who were preparing for the president's tour. Watch this video to the end. Today, the 3rd day of February 2025, and I'm still shooting in Kisumu. Yeah, I've been here over the weekend, and I'm still producing this video on this end. William Samoei Ruto was supposed, or rather is supposed, to tour Mandera County in what is touted as a development tour. But from where I'm seated, it is not a development tour. It is just a continuation of the 2025 rallies that the president has been going on with. The leadership of Mandera, however, is divided between UDM, UDA, and ODM. And recently, there is something that happened. The president is supposed to tour Mandera, but this story that have just emerged now is throwing those plans into a big spin, as now I wanted to check what is here. Suspected members of outlawed Alshabaab terror group reportedly abducted 5 chiefs in Mandera County on Monday. According to Mandera South Police Commander Julius Njeru, the 5 administrators were traveling from Wadagud to Elwak town for official duty. This Elwak town is amongst the places the president was supposed to tour. The chiefs were from the administrative units of Wadagud East, Kwaranmudo, and Chachabole, and were aboard a vehicle at the time of the incident. The vehicle ferrying the chiefs to Elwak was hijacked between Bamba Ola and Ires Suki in Mandera South. The chiefs were going for a consultative meeting to plan for an upcoming tour by President William Ruto in the region. These chiefs, the 5 chiefs that were abducted, were going to prepare for the president's tour in Mandera. That is a very, very worrying statement. And President William Ruto might be forced to cancel the trip to Mandera. The security, Kenya's multi-agency teams under the Special Operations Group, they made a quick response to try to help the situation, but they encountered an AED, explosive device, while responding to the incident. This led to delays in the rescue efforts to help bring the 5 chiefs home, with the insurgents making away with the administrators. These chiefs that have been abducted were going in Elwak for a consultative meeting to prepare for the president's tour there. I wanted to say this. These chiefs were going to prepare Now, I wanted to explain this. The chiefs were going to prepare for the president's visit in the area. William Ruto's Mandera tour is very critical to his 2027 re-election. I'm saying that because, according to President's handlers, there is a scheme to harvest many votes in the northern corridor and the western belt to try and use that as a contingency measure against the winning Mount Kenya vote. So this tour was critical to this. But I want to tell you the timing, why there are a lot of dynamics in Mandera. And for the lawyers in the house will help us around what I'm going to say here really needs a lot of your interpretation. The president was going to Mandera to take some UD bragging rights because there was a recent by-election that was done there, and this is how the candidates performed, the UDA party performed. In the Garissa Township by-election held on January 5, Deko Baro Mohammed of the UDA emerged victorious with 11,576. His closest competitor, Narsir Dolal Mohammed of the United Democratic Movement UDM, got 8,158. The by-election witnessed UDM's market share rise from 0 to 46% of the vote cast of Garissa Township votes. You can only imagine what will happen in 2027 to the current incumbent. I leave it to your imagination, inshallah. So this is Mandera Senator. So what are we saying? There was a by-election by UD around that area. In fact, before we look at it, let me lawyers in the house. That's why I said we needed your interpretation. How is it that an area has conducted a by-election while commission is not fully constituted, while some other areas are waiting for the commission to be fully constituted for by-elections? Someone can explain to us about that now. But then, that is basically the reason why the president was actually going to that northern belt. Because UDA won some MCA seat there, and they would want also to take some bragging rights. The second other issue, the second other dynamic in the president's tour in Mandera is the contention about this narrative of 2019 census was doctored. Maybe to this end, I would want us to listen to Duale, and because I think in this country we have what I can call political thuggery, or just, for lack of a better word, a lot of pettiness.
The census that I have participated as a leader was 2009. That culminated in the creation of constituencies. That time I was a member of parliament for Dugis. Then township was halved out of Dugis and became Balambala and township. In 2009, I'm giving you two examples. In 2009, Balambala constituency had 109,000 citizens. Lagdera constituency had like 115,000. And that's why Lagdera was split into Dadaab and Lagdera. Now come 2019, 10 years later, Balambala has 50,000. Out of the 50,000, 30,000 are school-going children. In these 10 years, there was no particular epidemic that happened in that region. There was no migration. So 10 years down the line, 50% of it. And this, I was the majority leader, and you have seen my clip. People were working at the behest of the state then. And I'm ready to name them. P.S. Kibicho and many others in the office of the president decided to do a deliberate attempt to doctor the results of certain parts of our country.
To what end? Because those are serious.
No, let me tell you. Yeah. The census are critical for the development of any region. The Commission on Revenue Allocation uses census. Government uses census to plan. Resources. So somebody had deliberate plan to deny certain regions of our country resources, political representation. But ask lawyers like Abducts. We said no. And that's why I tell you, an independent judiciary is very important for certain regions.
Okay, so
let me finish. So we went to court. And we didn't just send lawyers. We sent population data experts, statisticians. And our lawyers went with the experts to go and argue before the court. And I'm very, very happy that the scheme of those people, and they're the same people who are orchestrating the killing and the dumping of people in
CS, those are very serious allegations that you're making against people who are not here to defend themselves.
Please call them, we can have this podium.
And you need to come with receipts.
No.
Like Sam Gituku has provided receipts, by the way, for the 10 million.
Now
I will share it.
I don't buy this question. Not that they are wrong. They are saying that 2019 census happened, and the numbers in Northeastern were suppressed by former President Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, and as only Barrow and Jeff are asking, to what end? What will Uhuru Kenyatta gain by suppressing the votes from Mandera, from the Northern Corridor? If, by anything, if you ask me, the Mandera vote belonged to Raila. Raila got more votes than Uhuru Kenyatta, than William Ruto and both Uhuru Kenyatta in that area, especially Isiolo, Mandera, Wajir, and Garissa. So when someone is making an allegation that Uhuru Kenyatta suppressed so that, you know, they are not suppressed their numbers there so that they don't get revenue allocation, someone would be, I would think this way, kwani Uhuru would be that dumb that atake ya watu wapete pesa? Kwani pesa yenye naenda Mandera ilikuwa ya Uhuru? You know, sometimes even if you want to run narratives, and the likes of Duale should not even be given such airtime, because what they're planting is some ethnic card of tribe A versus tribe B. This story is neither here nor there. And another questionable issue about this story is this. I saw when William Ruto was campaigning, I never had this story, even after election, I never had this story of our numbers in Northeastern have been suppressed. Kama walikuwa na feel, let's say to imagine they were suppressed, they would have complained during election time, because that is the time that politicians are normally so keen on what numbers we have on table. It is not. So a judge sitting in Garissa, a High Court judge in Garissa, and it had to be Garissa, issued some orders cancelling the 2019 census, that it was doctored, and ordering a recount of the people in the northeastern side before before constituency review is done. The new constituency review, according to the new law, is they must have, a constituency must have a minimum of 170,000 people living there, not voters. 170,000 people there. So probably some of the areas in the Northern Corridor are not going to be, some that are called constituencies are going to be chopped off because they do not reach that limit. So someone has ordered that. Now I have two contentious questions about it. Allow me just to take time to explain this bit of this. Because how about if the new census that is done, if this is the one that now will be doctored? Because there is this question of doctoring. How about now? Because someone has already complained that, okay, sisi tuko wengi, but tulikauntiwa wachache. In fact, there was no, the census officials in Northeastern are people that come from that area. The leadership, even KNBS, come from that area. So I'm even wondering when you talk about this. Now, why am I not seeing that the new, what is packaged as the new recount is the new attempt to now balloon the figures so that they can match, they can meet the president's demand of countering what is happening from what's coming from Mount Kenya. There's something so questionable about it. And now, if someone, and I saw them asking for a commission of inquiry on I think that was on this, and even Duale was in Garissa at some point, I think over the weekend, and they said IBC should go slow on boundaries delimitation. So the whole discussion about Uhuru regime suppressed the Northern Corridor population is something that is a well choreographed narrative, and it is part of a bigger scheme to achieve something that you and I may not know. We don't seem to buy it, but then that is what is happening in that area. So I wanted to point out some of the dynamics of the things going on, and now let's look at this other tweet just to show you this. Ahmed Nasir, William Ruto's friend, to show you how the Mandera issue is a bit more complicated. As His Excellency William Ruto visits Northern Kenya this coming week, and the agenda and promises of his government are laid on the table, with 2027 in sharp focus, it's imperative that the people and their leaders show unity of purpose and speak one voice under UDM umbrella. They must display unity and show they are political force that can't be taken for granted. This is not time for political hawkers, political cathartes and giblis to shout loud and make a fool of themselves to be pretending to be closer to the president. Even though President Ruto and myself are in UDA for long haul, political decorum and broader strategic thinking require that UDM must be given space in northern Kenya. In this visit, both UDA and ODM must play second fiddle to UDM. You understand why now the UDA, UDM and all that fight, why that trip by president in northern Kenya is becoming a very big issue. Why it's, even if it's going to happen, there is a lot of contention in it. Why ODM has been mentioned is this clip by Sifuna. Sifuna was in Mandera and he got a very good reception, and at the end of it there, he really took the president head on.
Nimefika hapa kwa mwaliko wa seneta wenu kwa sababu ni mzee ambaye tunaheshimu sana pale Senate. Sasa shida ile ambaye nimepata, nimefika hapa akanikumbusha yeye ni party leader wa UDM. Nikamuuliza, na senator, unajua hapa county ya Mandera hata ODM iko. Wapi chairman wangu nusu kilo Yusuf Malim? Ananiambia governor amemtuma huko Takaba. Ala, na najua SG yake anakuja. Wapi nusu kilo? Ati hayuko. Nikauliza, na hapa Mandera East si niko na mbunge ya ODM anaitwa Weitan. Nikauliza, wapi Weitan? Ati simu ilikuwa haiingii. Nikajua hapa nimechorewa, si ndio? Kitu ambaye nataka kuwakumbusha Mheshimiwa Cherargei, wakati tunaenda kupiga kura 2022, huyu Mheshimiwa Roba pamoja na chama chake cha UDM tulikuwa pamoja ndani ya muungano wa Azimio, tulikuwa tunadansi hiyo wimbo lelo pamoja. Na kama hujui Cherargei, watu wa Mandera walipigia baba Raila Amolo Odinga 78% ya kura zote hapa katika kaunti ya Mandera. Yeye mtu yako unasema alitoka na kura 20 peke yake. Na kuna sababu. Nyinyi mmekuja hapa kama maseneta, mnaona kazi ya devolution. Yule mwanzilishi wa devolution sio mwingine ni baba Raila Amolo Odinga. Yeye ndio mwenye kutuletea hii katiba. Unaona hii kazi inaendelea hapa. Wakati wengine wenu mlikuwa mnapinga hii katiba, nyinyi ndio mlikuwa mnapinga hii katiba. Baba ndiye alikuwa anasukuma, anasema pesa yote haiwezi kuishia Nairobi, ingine ikuje Mandera. Sasa wewe hiyo 98% utatafuta hapa kwa mchanga. Hakuna kura yako hapa. Ukitaka kura uchaguliwe tena, unataka 99% ya kura 2022, suluhisha 99% of the problems of the people of Mandera, watakupatia kura. Mimi nimeshangaa sana wakati nafika hapa, ni mara yangu ya kwanza kuja katika kaunti ya Mandera. Kuanzia kwa airport, ukishuka kwa airport, mtu umetoka Nairobi ukiwa msafi unaingia kwa vumbi. Na Uasin Gishu County mahali ambapo rais anatoka, kuna airport ngapi? 2. Zote ziko na lami. Moja international, ingine airstrip ya kulanda machopa yake. Sasa akikuja hapa tumuulize, wakati unajenga airstrip 2 Uasin Gishu, kilomita 3 ya lami hapa Mandera itakushinda? Sasa ukiweka hiyo ndio waulize hawa watu kura. Lakini tukiendelea kuishi kwa vumbi hivi haiwezekani. Mheshimiwa Roba, nimeshtuka sana. Mimi naingia Mandera, hakuna stima Mandera. Mwaka mzima tangu Ramadhan, mwaka ule mwingine. Mwaka mzima watu wanakaa bila stima kuanzia Ramadhani ya last year. Ramadhan ndio hii ingine natupata chini ya wiki 4, hakuna stima Mandera. Wewe unatuambia unataka 99%, utatoa wapi bana my friend? Kama watu wa Mandera hapa hawana stima, generators zimekufa mwaka mzima. Kila siku governor anapiga simu Nairobi, wanamwambia generators zinakuja. Ambia Ruto akuje na hizo generator next week. Akuje nazo. Niseme hii maneno ama niwache? Niseme nisiseme? Kwa sababu hakuna stima Mandera. Hata hospitali ile tumepelekwa ambayo ilijengwa na county government inakimbia na generator. Mtu anapelekwa theater, ako na generator, mafuta ikiisha kwa hiyo generator tunapoteza mtu. Kwa sababu ya hiyo shida ya stima, hakuna maji. Nimeenda kwa fire station ya manispaa, kitu kimejengwa vizuri na pesa za devolution zile baba aliwapatia, lakini maji hadi lazima iletwe na Bowser kwa sababu hatuna stima ya kuleta maji. Utatoa wapi kura 98% bwana? My friend, muache kudanganyana bwana, tuache kudanganyana. Usiposuluhisha masuala ambaye yanawakabidhi wananchi, wacha kutusumbua hapa. Patiana hiyo nafasi, mtu mwingine afanye hiyo kazi.
Now, what is making, why this attack, why kidnap of the chiefs is something that is worrying President William Ruto ahead of that trip? The division, it just shows that the division among the leaders in Mandera is a big threat to scuttle that trip. The division is there. And there are quite a section there that feel he's unwelcome. One thing he doesn't know is who are they. And the people around him, are they territorial enemies? But there is a serious threat that probably he is not wanted there. That is why chiefs that are going to plan for his going there have been abducted. The second issue is, I think for some time, the president have decided to avoid the discussion about abduction. He can go to public and speak about everything. Since he spoke about it, that will stop it in December, when he was in this other western side, he's never spoken about this abduction. But if his own chiefs have been abducted by now the Alshabaab, he's being dragged in the conversation about abduction. And I wish that rally, or rather the trip, continues so that we find out what exactly is, how exactly is going to react about it. If he fails to talk about it, is he going to talk it in terms of terrorism, or is going to talk about it in terms of abductions? But then people should not be brought up in the thinking that, you know, the chiefs have been abducted by Al-Shabaab. So even the young people that are being abducted in Nairobi is such motive. So, but then basically it brings up that discussion. The other issue is a serious security concern on the president's tour. So if they can profile the level of hostility in Mandera, probably they can cut off that trip. But it's a very worrying thing that the president's team, who chiefs work under the provincial administration, who are planning the trip, actually were abducted. Thank you.